Next, let's talk about the Pathfinder Panel. The Pathfinder Panel is a way to make complex objects out of simple objects. And let me elaborate on that. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to draw a circle, and I'm going to draw a square. And I'm going to make that square blue so it stands out a little more against the other one. And now I'm going to bring up my Pathfinder panel. I'm going to go to Window, and I'm going to go to Pathfinder, and here it is. Now the Pathfinder panel has shape modes and pathfinders, and these again ways to make complex shapes out of multiple simple shapes. I'm going to select these two shapes, and now the first one here says Unite. If I clicked Unite, it turns these into a compound shape. You can see those are now one shape. It's been completely merged into a single shape with the qualities of the two. Or if I undo that, I could go and I could say that I want to minus the front. That removes the front shape from the back one there. I could say that I want just the overlapping area. Now that's the parts of those two shapes that were overlapping. That's called intersect. I could say that I want everything except the overlapping area. And now I've got the parts that were not overlapping left. The pathfinders work similar, but they actually just focus on the path. So this divides the shape. And now if I go up to Object and Ungroup, you'll see that this is actually 3 segments of a shape. Also under that, I have Trim, which we'll split it out of it. I've got Merge, which will combine them together, but just as paths. I've got Crop, which gets rid of all what's overlapping. And I've got the Outline, which just gives me an outline of the different lines, gets rid of all the fills. And then minus Back, which would get rid of the back image. So it'll only demonstrate that one actually. Select that, minus Back, and I have just what was in front. So which one of those you use would very much depend upon the particular project you were working on. A very simple example would be that I could draw a circle like so, and then I could go to my polygon tool and bring that down to a triangle. Go ahead and select those and unite them, and now it's like a keyhole. And then I could go and I could create, whoops, wrong tool. Go and create a rectangle. Make this brown. Alter my keyhole shape a little bit to be exactly the way that I want it to be. Put it on the door. Select the two. Now because the keyhole is behind the door, I'm going to say that I want to minus the back, and now I have a door with a keyhole cut out of it. So by using the Pathfinder panel, we can create these complex shapes that way. Now sometimes when working with parts in order to make the complex shapes, we have to combine 2 points together. So let me give you an example of that. Let's just say that I take my line segment tool and I draw a line here, and I draw a line here, and a line here, and a line here. Well, as far as we can see, the human eye, we have a square here. But if I zoom in, you'll see that Illustrator does not see this as a square. It sees it as 4 lines that just happen to be touching on the ends. Each one has its own individual points. So if I tried to fill this with color, let's zoom in on that there. If I tried to fill this with color, it wouldn't do anything because they're just lines. There's nothing to fill, right? So we have a command for connecting points together, and that is join. Now these points are right on top of each other, so all I need to do is use my direct select tool to select them. So I've selected both those points, and then I go to Object, Path, and Join. The keyboard shortcut is Command J, and you'll see I now have a corner there. This has turned that into a connected point. And do the same thing down here. Select those two, Object, Path, Join. again right here, object, path, join. And then my last corner, and I'll just use the keyboard shortcut this time, Command J, and it's joined. And now, if I decide I want to fill this, it's going to fill it just like a normal square because it is an actual shape now. I've joined those paths. Now there is a command that goes along with the join command, and that is average. Let's just say that I'd taken my line tool and I drew a line like that, and then I had another line like this. Well, if I were to, those 2 points aren't right on top of each other. If I were to select those and do my join command, what it would do is actually put a little line between the two of them so that it can join them. Maybe I don't want that. Maybe I want it to be a solid line. So what I would do is I would select them, go up to Object, Path, and Average. Now it's asking, how do I want this average? Do I want them averaged horizontally, which means they'll be on the same line horizontally, side to side? Do I want them averaged vertically, which means they're on the same line up and down? Or do I want them both? I want them both in this case, and that will move those points to be right on top of each other, where I can now join them and have them be a single point. So, to give you an example of using this in real-world situation, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go to an ellipse tool, and I'm going to draw a little ellipse like so. And I'm going to go to my line tool, and I'm going to draw a line going straight up from that. And another line going straight up there. And a line going across. And now I'm going to zoom in on these, and I'm going to connect those points using Command J for join so that it's an actual shape. And I'm going to go to my brush tool, and I'm just going to draw something like that. Zoom in on this. Now, if I don't want to click and drag for selecting, I can hold down Shift. So I'm going to click that point, then hold Shift and click that point so they're both selected. Then I'm going to go to Object, and I'm going to go to Path and Average. Average those so they're on the same point, and then Command J to join them. And so now I have this note, per se, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the whole thing, and I'm going to go to my Pathfinder, which apparently got put away. Let's bring it back out again. And I'm going to merge those all into one single shape. And go ahead and fill that black. And you can see that I have a complex shape that would have been much more difficult for me to draw by myself using like the pen tool or something to get all the right points.